The cafeteria was unusually loud that afternoon. Laughter echoed from every table, trays clattered, and the smell of fries and reheated pizza drifted through the air. At the far corner, away from the crowd, sat Emily, the quiet girl. She had her long brown hair tucked behind her ears, head down, eating slowly as if every bite was measured. Her posture was small, her movements careful, as though she was trying to disappear into the background. 4 weeks since transferring to this new school, she'd been a ghost, unnoticed, unbothered, until that day. They came in like a storm. Jason, the self-proclaimed king of the cafeteria, swaggered over with 2 of his friends, tall, loud, and overflowing with arrogance. They spotted Emily sitting alone, and something in their expressions turned predatory. Jason grinned, leaning toward his buddies. "Watch this," he whispered, loud enough for the nearby tables to hear. He slid onto the bench across from her without invitation. "Hey, new girl," he drawled, eyes raking her up and down. "Why so quiet? Cat got your tongue?" His friends snickered. Emily didn't respond. She kept her gaze on her food, but her grip on the fork tightened ever so slightly. Jason wasn't used to being ignored. He reached for her water bottle, took a long swig, and set it back down with a loud thunk. "That yours? Tastes boring, like you." The boys laughed louder, and now a few other students turned to watch. Then it escalated. One of them, Ryan, took out his phone and started filming. "Come on, smile for the camera, shy girl," he taunted, leaning over to snap a picture. Another leaned in from behind and tugged lightly at her hair. "Maybe she's mute," he joked, and the 3 burst out laughing. Emily's jaw clenched. She had endured whispers in hallways, mocking glances in classrooms, she could ignore those. But the camera, the hair pulling, the invasion of her space, that was a line. She had spent years controlling her instincts, burying the skills her father drilled into her since she was 10. But in that moment, the switch flipped. Ryan reached over again to poke her shoulder, and that's when it happened. Emily's chair scraped back suddenly. Her hand shot up, gripping his wrist in a blur of movement, twisting it so fast and precise that Ryan yelped in shock. Before Jason could react, she pivoted, sweeping her leg under the table in a sharp arc that connected with his knee. A sickening crack echoed, followed by a howl of pain. The cafeteria went dead silent. Trays froze midair. Forks hung over plates. Ryan tried to lunge at her, but Emily moved like water, sidestepping, planting her foot, and slamming it into his shin. He collapsed to the floor, clutching his leg, his phone skittering across the tiles. The third boy froze in place, eyes wide, backing away as though she were a wild animal. It had all happened in less than 10 seconds. The same quiet girl they mocked was now standing tall, breathing steady, her eyes sharp and unflinching. Teachers rushed in, the principal following close behind, but the damage, physical and reputational, was already done. The boys were taken to the nurse's office, limping and groaning. Emily was escorted to the principal's office, but the hallway was lined with whispers, not of pity but of awe. The truth no one at school knew was that Emily's father had been a retired military instructor. From the time she could walk, she had been trained in self-defense, not to start fights, but to end them when absolutely necessary. For years, she had stayed invisible to avoid drawing attention to herself. But that day, they left her no choice. In the days that followed, the video of the incident, because of course someone had filmed it, spread through the school like wildfire. The same boys who once strutted around like they owned the place now avoided eye contact, their swagger gone. Emily didn't bask in the attention, didn't boast about what she had done. She went right back to her corner table in the cafeteria, eating in silence. But now, the silence was different. It wasn't the silence of fear, it was the silence of power. Some students started sitting near her, not out of pity, but respect. A few even apologized for not stepping in. Emily didn't hold grudges. She had learned that real strength wasn't about revenge, it was about knowing when to act and when to let go. And as for Jason, Ryan, and the third boy, they learned a lesson they would never forget. The quiet ones are the ones you should never underestimate. Message to viewers. Friends, if you were in that cafeteria, would you have stood up for Emily before things went too far? Let me know in the comments, your thoughts might inspire someone to take action when it matters most. And if you believe in standing up against bullying, remember to hit that like button, share this story, and subscribe to Be Kind Always for more real and inspiring stories. Together, we can make kindness louder than cruelty.